guys, welcome back to another video, and today we'll talk about Brassavola orchids. I don't have, any video dedicated to this type of orchids because I haven't grown many of them. Took me a while to understand how they work, but today I have a Brassavola that's struggling a bit and I need to repot it. So I thought it's a good opportunity for us to discuss and talk a little bit more about Brassavola. I do have a few Brassavolas. I have one that the flower is fading, but they struggled a bit with pests in the past, as most of my orchids, if you don't know that. I have a history of pests, and they were adapting to their new environment, and I struggled a bit with them as I struggle with Cattleyas. But today, I will introduce you, talk a little bit about Brassavolas, where they come from in the world, some curiosities, and also we will repot my Brassavola together. If that's the type of content you'd like to see here, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and let's start and let's navigate through the world of Brassavolas. So Brassavola is a genus of orchid that has 21 different species according to Wikipedia. Please, Wikipedia is not the most trustful source, so you might have to correct some of this information. Hopefully that's the correct one. So Brassavolas are widespread from Mexico to Central America to South America in a range of different environments. Usually they can grow on top of trees or epiphyte, but some of them are even lithophyte, growing on top of rocks. So because they adapt to these different environments, it's always good for you to research the type of species that you have and then look out to see how can you better care for your Brassavola. But generally speaking, most of them will receive similar care to Cattleya orchids. If you offer bright light, they should be okay. Wait for them to dry out very well between watering, they should be okay as well. One of the distinctive features of Brassavola orchids is their elongated pseudobulb, which produces a single apical and succulent leaf. They resemble succulent plants a lot. This leaf is an essential part of the plant's water storage system, helping it survive in its often dry and native habitats. As I mentioned, very important to wait for them to dry out between watering. So now talking about the flowers of the Brassavola orchid, they are unique, they are beautiful, I love them. Usually the species will have a single white or greenish white flower, and they will produce a few flowers. The flowers have 3 sepals and 2 lateral petals that will be narrow, long, and often greenish. So talking about the lip, is broad, sometimes fringed, and partially enfolds the column, a key feature of this orchid. So the magical part about the Brassavola orchid is the scent. Usually it has a nighttime fragrance. It's like a citrus type of fragrance that will attract pollinators. If you think about plants that will only be fragrant during nighttime, that means that the pollinators are nighttime pollinators. Usually we have moths and sometimes of flies and other insects that will pollinate these plants. Now a curiosity, and I'm going to use my phone to read it, is that Brassavola nodosa was the first tropical orchid to be brought to Europe in 1698. Came from the Curaçao to Holland. You can think about when we talk about colonization, that's what happened. They came to the tropics, they collect plants, among other stuff. That's when it started fascination with the Brassavola nodosa. Now let's go to my specific case. I have a Brassavola that I don't know where it is. It's there. Let me grab it. I have a Brassavola. This Brassavola here is struggling a lot. It's with the wrong tag. I'll have to add the name below. It's with the tag of a Cattleya. I don't know what happened, but this is a hybrid. And what happened is, because of the stem and how the stem is growing, all of the roots are growing all over the place and they are not going inside the pot. So the plant is very dehydrated. I'm not happy of the state of this Brassavola, so I need to repot it. How I know that this is dehydrated? Looking at the leaves, they are wrinkly. They are not growing well, and I can see that I only have aerial roots, and I need these roots to touch the mix so they can absorb water and nutrients. So today we will assess this plant and let's repot it together, shall we? Here it is, my Brassavola, in its very sad state. So what I have to do here is to remove it from its pot and to remove from this potting mix. That actually is not an old potting mix as far as I remember, but I might need to change it. So let's remove it from here and check if there is any live roots inside the pot. I don't think there is. What I want to do is to pot it up in a way that these roots access can touch the potting mix, so they can hydrate themselves and also help to feed my orchids. Very easy to remove from this mix, as you can see. Now it's time to access the roots that we have inside the potting mix, the same way that we access all of our orchid, just checking if it's mushy, papery, and then cut everything that's dead, like this is dead. Again, that's dead as well. This orchid has a very interesting pattern of growth because the roots, they always grow all over the stem, and the stem spreads around the pot, so it's quite difficult to make it and to have it potted. It's like with some other orchids with long stems as well. However, I have no other choice, I have no other option. I need to get them potted because otherwise I wouldn't have time to actually water everything. So everything's dead here, and that's exactly what I suspect, that I wouldn't have live roots. On top of that, these orchids suffered some accidents. It fell on the floor a few times, so it might have hurted the roots. So everything that was inside the pot wasn't alive. Now I need to pot it up. The first thing that I will see is, let's check the potting mix to see if this potting is very old and degraded or if I can reuse it. So this is potting, that's the wrong tag, saying Cattleya Highway Star only one. That's definitely not this Cattleya. Yeah, the potting mix not looking very good, so I will throw these away and I'll just repot it. Give me a second. Now let's quickly repot this plant. I will do as I do with my Cattleyas as well. I will place more bark than Sphagnum moss, but I start with a layer of moss at the bottom, as you can see, and then I will add layers of bark and just a few strains of moss here and there. I think my plant enjoys a little bit of moisture and helps with my watering routine as well. Something important I think about these plants, and I think that's the most difficult part for me, is how to make sure the roots are touching the potting mix. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. There is something here. I have an old part of my orchid that is coming from here. Oopsie daisy. I don't want to remove any of the bulbs or any of the leaves because my orchid doesn't have energy. It's not hydrating itself, so it needs to rely on its old bulbs and old divisions, so I'm not going to remove any of them for now. I would just try to reorganize them in a way that the roots can touch the mix, that's all. But I'm not gonna remove any old growth because my orchid is struggling. And if your orchids, especially your Brassavolas, are struggling, they rely on their succulent leaves to hydrate themselves. That's really, really important. So I'm just holding the roots down to see if all of them will touch the mix. Hopefully they will, and I will have new growths, and these new growths, they will be healthier than the older ones. Let's see, not sure. It's a very unruly plant. It's growing everywhere. I need to fix that very quickly. Okay, less strands of moss are here. Lots of bark. This plant has never been the healthiest orchid in my collection. The other Brassavolas are so healthy compared to this one. Hopefully this time it will do because I love the flower. I will add 4 beads of 6 beads of slow release fertilizer to help my plant to grow. And now I will just add moss until the roots are completely covered. I will not be able to cover all of the roots because some roots, they are pointing upwards, which is very strange, and I don't want to break these roots but they are dehydrating, and I cannot just keep moistening them every day. So I'm having issues to hydrate this Brassavola. That's the main reason why I'm repotting it. There we go, completely repotted now. Let me add to its pot and I'm gonna come to conclude the video. Hi guys, so that's it. That was everything that I want to talk to you today about Brassavola orchids. My orchid has been repotted. I've already watered it. Hopefully that's enough for it to grow and keep growing healthily. I will keep an eye on these roots and I'll keep an eye on the leaves. If it starts hydrating itself, what should I notice next? It's simply the new growths will grow larger, and also some of the leaves will lose some of the wrinkles. They will become plumpier and also more like succulent leaves. Hopefully that's what I'm gonna see, that's what I will find in the future, and this plant will survive. I'll keep you posted. But I hope you enjoyed the first video about Brassavolas. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!